What is going on, everyone? It's Ricky with TechWhat Solutions. I hope that you guys have had an amazing weekend. I'm going to be saying what's up to everyone that's tuning in right now. So for those that are watching this maybe for the first time, my name's Ricky. I run the largest YouTube channel and the largest private Facebook group for those who trade in the stock market. We'd love for you to stay connected. The link is down below. It's the first link in the description. We have a little bit over 210,000 members within our free Facebook group. And then we host one of these Sunday stock talks every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. as of right now, Pacific Standard Time. I'm in Arizona, right? So due to daylight savings, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as of right now, and it's pretty much where we, kind of just connect, talk about the top stocks that you guys see value in, and I simply break it down for you. So you share the stock that you see value in, and I give you my own 2 cents of kind of my own opinion of what it is that you're watching when it comes down to your entry point, when it comes down to your overall stock plan. I'm just kind of here to share my thought process with you guys and have some fun. So if you want to connect with like-minded individuals, I think our group can be a great solution for that. But the only way that you can find out is if you join. Hopefully we can be of value. You can direct message me within our private group chat, but altogether you won't know until you try. So I'm just clearing up the watch list right now for all those that are going to be asking. I'm using the TD Ameritrade Think or Swim platform. It's the platform that I use. It's not one that you have to use yourself. And do I recommend it? Sure. Is it necessary? Nope. It's amazing there's so many amazing platforms out there. Get informed, become more familiar with different platforms in your area, the pros, the cons. Don't take not one person's opinion of it. I'm a true believer that practice makes perfect. So feel free to open up a platform, test it out, see if it's something that you see value in, and don't think it's always just the only option. We're so blessed right now to be in a era where there's so many different alternatives and options for those that want to get started. My number one tip, real quick, number one tip for someone that's just getting started, especially if you guys are going to be utilizing the extra time this summer, right? I saw someone comment that this is their first week of summer. What's going on, Lido? Their first week of summer. If you guys want to utilize the extra time that you have to maybe learn how to trade, I want to make sure that you understand that it's going to take time for you to even get to a point to understand everything that we're talking about today. But practice makes perfect, and the only way that you're going to be able to get to a point to potentially one day make money off the stock market is if you start now, you start taking action, you begin to practice everything that you learn. And I think the best way to get started is with simulation trading. Search it up, paper trading, simulation trading. Search it up on Google, search it up on YouTube. I have one of the top videos on YouTube. I share my opinion on why I think it's so effective. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can practice everything that you learn. Or trading on demand for those that have the TD Ameritrade Think or Swim platform. So I'm gonna say what's up to everyone. What's going on, Mason? What's going on, Carlos? What's going on, Paul? What's going on, Magic? What's going on, Josh? Nick, NYC Trading. What is going on, Mason? Chris, Zachary, Eduardo, Jacob. The whole squad's here. We got NYC Trading again, calling out ticker symbol Baba, Nico. Oh man, we got the whole team here. Francisco, what is that? John, Jerry, Gary, Greg. We got Hunter, Mr. PH, Rice, what is going on? Cameron, what's up? Really do appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sunday to tune on in. I do want to give you guys a quick little reminder. I do have some open spots probably for the first 5 people that I see that tag me. That if you have Instagram, feel free to tag me on your Instagram story. So at Ricky Gutierrez with 2 Z's. That's my only Instagram account, so ignore all the rest. They're all fake. But yeah, feel free to tag me and I'll repost you, and hopefully you can get some followers. I love to empower you guys to do certain things that get you one step closer to your overall goal. And I know a lot of you guys like the attention that I think it's super cool to connect with other people that are trading in the stock market, and I know a lot of my followers will see value in you just tuning in. So hopefully that's something that we can kind of help one another out with. So let's make that money. What's going on, Cody? So Matt Fuller here. Let me go ahead and click show. Oh shoot, no. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to delete. So I'll break your stock down first, Matt. I apologize for that. But this is the ticker call-out format. Ish is going to be sharing the ticker call-out format. If you want me to break down the stock that you see value in, then please do me the biggest favor and make sure that you've done your own due diligence on it. If you just simply share the ticker symbol, I'm not going to break it down for you. I want to make sure that, again, we're not here to spoon feed you, and that you dedicate time to break down that stock, develop your whole stock plan with your entry, exit, support, resistance, why you see potential, and your overall risk management. Again, if you want me to scratch your back, I want to make sure that where am I going with that? You scratch my back, ask yours. Yeah, well, I really just want to make sure that you do your own due diligence. So sorry for that dorky kind of example. I hope you guys know why it is that I asked you guys to put in that ticker call out format. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, I'm done. That's my mess up for today. But yeah, let's go ahead and have some fun. I really hope that I earned your thumbs up in this video. It really means a lot. Let me know that we're at least doing something right to make you guys happy. And we got Sicko42013. What is going on, my man? Let's go ahead and have some fun. So let's go ahead and I'm going to start with Matt since I hid yours. I really do apologize. Here we go. So JDST. JDST. So I'm going to add this one here. Every stock that I break down is going to be added on the left-hand corner. JDST, do you guys see why he's calling this one out? Does it make sense? Like, why is this one right now being something that's called out? Is this something that you should trade right now? But does it, in my opinion, no. But does it make sense on why it's, maybe on his watch list for this week? Yes, right? We've talked about it. Yeah, this is my third live stream for today. So I did a live stream for YouTube, right? Right around like 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then I went live again for our Perks member, which is our private membership on YouTube. For those that needed a little bit more assistance, more beginners, right? And did a 30-minute live stream on more examples and overall mindset for consolidation. 3 stages of a reversal: rejection, consolidation, and now what do we wait for? We wait for the exact opposite of what's going on right now. So the easiest way that we can put it is, obviously, we want to invest or trade, right, when it's increasing in value. As of right now, it's not really increasing in value. It's in that consolidation phase. So we could see that it's building a resistance right around $40, building a support right around this, like, again, just trying to identify overall low points and high points. It's not really selling off anymore. It's consolidating, right? So it was selling off. It got rejected, became oversold, right? Began to consolidate, and now what do we wait for? Well, we want to see signs of growth, right? If we want to grow our accounts, then we want to see signs of growth. As of right now, it's still getting rejected by this EMA line. So we can do a very simple thing and simply set our alerts and follow up with JDST, maybe when it begins to indicate signs of an uptrend and our indicators start to go off. This isn't something that you have to get into right away, but just like it's done before, where it gets rejected, it consolidates, and then it begins to change its direction. It begins to push up, pull back, push up, pull back, and it's beginning to show signs of an uptrend pattern. We definitely have a nice little margin, right, for potential profit. Now all we need to do is wait for confirmation, because just as much as we hope that it goes up, guess what? Hope doesn't get you very far in the stock market, and I think that we could all agree on that. So just as much as it could break above the EMA line, it can continue to downtrend. So again, don't just always think about the pros and the positives, but always think about, again, what steps can you take to minimize overall risk, right? And I think a very simple step that you can take is giving it a little bit more time to identify its true direction and identify that true confirmation. That would be my 2 cents. Matt, I think you've been doing an amazing job when it comes down to these stock callouts. And I think that now we just have to really keep it super simple. Let's wait for confirmation. Let's wait for higher highs, and let's make sure that it identifies its pattern and then uptrend pattern and true direction. So here we go. We got Asher with /CL. I definitely see why it is that one is being called out. So we'll go ahead and break that one down. So for those that don't understand what /CL, some of you guys might not be able to see it pop up if you don't have anything but TD Ameritrade. So what this correlates on over to is UWT. So when /CL pushes up, then so does UWT. But when /CL pushes down, as it's been downtrending, then guess what pushes up, right? The inverse ETF, which is DWT. I've been doing extremely well when it comes down to trading these specific ETFs. It's one of the top ETFs that I was trading last week, or I guess it's still this week, right? And I had my most successful week trading. Again, I am trading with a much larger dollar amount in comparison to what I was before, but nonetheless, I've been seeing a lot of volatility on /CL just due to all the news. So one of my biggest things that I would pay attention to right now is it's the news of what /CL is kind of experiencing right now when it comes down to crude oil. That's been driving the price up, and that's been changing that volatility. So I'd look at it a little bit closer, and you can kind of see this like downward staircase pattern. As of right now, that's the pattern that I would identify. The SMA is descending. It's making lower lows, right? And it continues to make lower lows and lower highs. And looking at the RSI and looking at the MACD, it doesn't look like the best deal, right? It looks like it might be due for a pullback. Looking at it during pre-market hours or during extended hours, for those that don't know, futures, right, open as early as Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So for those that aren't familiar with that, well, now you know, and hopefully that's something that you learned in this live stream. But yeah, as of right now, this is where it closed at on Friday. It pushed up, right, as soon as the market opened for the futures, which was around 3 p.m. today, and then it began to sell off. As of right now, it's showing signs of a descending pattern, although it had a nice little push up. All I want to point out is that with this 180-day chart, if this pattern continues of this lower lows, it tries to push up and then gets rejected, then we will most likely see, again, /CL, still give back a little bit more before it continues to uptrend. I would look into the fundamentals. Again, I'm not a huge fundamentals trader, but when it comes down to what's been driving the price up for the past 2 days on /CL, which then correlates on over to UWT, is the certain news of, there's 3 main articles that I read that made sense on what was driving the price up for crude oil, right? And it correlates on over to natural gas. So for those that are part of Learn Plan Profit and that tuned into our live trading session when the crude oil report came out, it drove the price down on /NG and UGAZ as well, which we were able to benefit from. It actually was a natural gas report that came out on Thursday that drove the price down on UWT. And if you were part of the Learn Plan Profit live stream, you would have seen that. But again, one thing that I just want to point out is that this is kind of the direction, the pattern that I would focus on. It doesn't look like the best deal. And if it does begin to change its overall direction, which it can, right? It can continue to uptrend. Let's take it day by day, especially because we know it's not a good deal. So at this point, I would approach it day by day. And if it does continue to uptrend, then I'll day trade it, lock in profits, call it a day. If it continues to uptrend the next day, I'll day trade it, lock in profits, call it a day. Why? Again, when it comes down to holding something, there's untold risk because you can't manage your risk during after the market closes. So it could open or close 10% or 5%, right? So that's like the uncontrolled variable. So especially when you see that something is so overbought. So I really do appreciate that call out. Let's go ahead and go to Sergio. What's going on, Sergio? INTC. Here we go. INTC. Okay, what do you guys think about this one? It was showing signs of an uptrend pattern, became super overbought. Earnings came out, drove the price down, has been selling off ever since. Look at the RSI and look at the MACD. I can see why this one's being called out, right? Because I had a really strong day, so I had a 2% day on Friday. But now I want to ask you, how does this normally trade? So as it pushes up, it pulls back to the EMA line, right? So it pushes up, pulls back to the EMA line. I think it's cool that you identified kind of this like cup and handle pattern of something that can show signs of a potential reversal. But one thing that I want to point out is the SMA line used to act as a support, meaning that when the pattern's above the SMA line, it makes higher highs and higher lows. As of right now, the SMA line is a descending, line, so therefore it might be acting as a resistance. So there's just another layer of risk when trying to trade something that is a descending pattern. So although it is showing signs of recovery, it's not a good deal, it's overbought, and it makes sense on why it might pull back before it continues to uptrend. I'm not saying you can't make money off of it, you just have to be a little bit better and more efficient and selective with your entry points and your exit points, and it's a little bit more of a higher risk because the overall direction is not in your favor. Doesn't mean that you can't make money. I would just say you might want to be a little bit more selective and quick with your entries and your exits. So, but I appreciate the call out. So let's go ahead and go here. We got Jordan with INS. Let's go ahead and break that down. So ticker symbol INS. Here we go. What do you guys think about this one? So showing signs of an uptrend pattern. I think we did a good job with that. It pulled back. It's trying to consolidate, but now we're below the SMA line. Normally, again, not always, but normally what happens is that, once it breaks below the SMA line and it tries to push up and then gets rejected, the SMA line, which used to act as a support, just like we saw before, then begins to act as a resistance, and then we'll see lower lows and lower highs and the overall direction begin to change. Again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. This is why it's so important to wait for confirmation. So all we can do as of right now is, as it's consolidating, I really don't care for it, right? We want to make sure that, what did we find attractive about INS? It was this uptrend pattern and that it was trading above the SMA line. It's not doing that anymore. So now we needed to pretty much just fulfill its previous pattern because that's what we originally saw value in. So as of right now, the pattern is broken, and it's not until we get that confirmation that it would make sense based off previous patterns that then we can take advantage of that opportunity. I think it had an amazing day on Friday, so it pushed up. It looks like it's in that consolidation phase. So overall low points around that $25 price point, overall high points around that $30 price point. So yes, you can scalp it, and yes, you can still make money as it's consolidating. But biggest thing that I would, encourage you guys to do is to be selective with your trades. Just because you can make money doesn't mean that you should take that position because of the risk, right? If you're someone that's struggling to consistently stay green, then again, if you want to do this for the rest of your life or for a long period of time, you just want to make sure that your best practices today are congruent with your overall end goal, which means that again, if you're struggling because these stocks that you're trading are either consolidating or showing signs of a descending pattern, then maybe it might not be the best idea to try to take advantage of this so-called opportunity when the direction is not super clear. Just something to think about, right? But at the end of the day, again, I'm not here to tell you what to trade. You guys do you. I just want to make sure that you guys have that idea in mind, that your best practices and your habits that you're implementing today, I hope that they align with what it is that you're intending to do here within the stock market. So here we go. We got David. What's going on, David? SWKS. Appreciate you tuning in. SWKS. Here we go. Alrighty, so we got another potential reversal, right? So I like this one. It was showing signs of a sell-off. So again, based off previous patterns, we could see why this would be viewed as a so-called, like on the 180-day chart, why it's a little bit more on the oversold side, right? So a little bit more of a better deal. This would be something that would potentially be maybe like a swing trade that as it confirms more of an uptrend, then you can add more to your position size. This isn't something where this isn't something that I would trade as of right now, but just because I don't trade it doesn't mean you shouldn't. This could be something that if you look a little bit more into the fundamentals, doesn't make sense. And on the technicals, it does. Like it looks like it's showing signs of a potential reversal, but again, we still want to give it time. It hasn't really been making higher highs. It's kind of still just consolidating. So we can set a series of alerts, and as long as it stays true to the pattern that it's shown before, where it validates the EMA line as a support, it shows signs of an uptrend, and it begins to show signs of a recovery, great. But as of right now, just understand that the SMA line is still descending. It's kind of in the early stages of this potential reversal. And again, with that keyword potential, it doesn't mean that we have that full-on confirmation. So let's set those alerts, but just as much as it could go up, it could go down. So make sure you always have that plan B and make sure that you manage that risk. But I really like that you're able to identify overall low points based off previous patterns, identify that potential oversold or oversold price range territory. And now we just need to wait for higher highs and higher lows, and for that direction and that overall pattern, the uptrend pattern, we hope, right, is clear. And then maybe it would make a little bit more sense to have that confidence to take that swing trade. But I really do appreciate the call out on that one. So we got Corey Davis in the house. We got SMAR. Here we go. SMAR. Boom. There we go. All right. I want you guys to break this down with me. And again, I want to make sure that you guys know that me breaking these stocks down, this is simply based off of my experience, my opinion. At the end of the day, you guys do you, and I hope that you guys know that I'm not here to tell you what you should or should not trade. I'm just giving you my 2 cents, and that's why we host these, right? So what do you think about this? So it was showing signs of an uptrend pattern, became super overbought, right? Pulled back, validated the SMA line as a support, and it's been uptrending and then had a random push, right, due to its earnings. So a lot of what do we know about earnings, right? It can either drive the price up, drive the price down, but this news, right, is short-lived. It doesn't last for a very long period of time. You could see its average volume, and you could see its recent volume due to its actual earnings, right? And we could see that based off previous earnings, it did the same thing as well, and then it corrects itself. So all I'm saying is be aware of these different catalysts that drive the price up or down, and if they're short-lived or if it's something that is going to stick with that specific company that you're trying to trade. As of right now, it looks like it's a little bit more on the overextended side. If we look at previous patterns, let's keep it super simple. Forget about these indicators, forget about the MACD looking overbought, right, or overextended. Forget about the RSI, obviously being on the overbought side. Let's just stick to the simple patterns. Asking yourself, keeping it simple, trying to treat it as a tangible product instead of it just being a stock, right? That's very intangible. So SMAR, based off of previous price points, no patterns, just keep it on the price point side. Right now it's trading at $45.50. Based off of previous price points, if we're here to buy something and sell it for a profit, is this a good deal based off of how it's been trading? Is it normally valued at $45.50? No, not really, especially based off of its recent patterns. It's kind of been around this like $40 to $42, and there's been the low points, high points, low points, high points, and then it pushed up, and it pushed up because of news, right? And that news isn't going to last forever, and now it's super overbought. It's at 45.50, right? And it's not viewed as the best deal. Can it continue to uptrend? Of course, this thing can open at $500 tomorrow, and great. If it opens like that during pre-market hours, there's nothing that you'd be able to do. But again, make sure that your best practices today align with your overall end goal. FOMO is a huge obstacle, right, that you're going to have to overcome, meaning the fear of missing out. So as of right now, keeping it super simple, just ask yourself, is this a good deal? Does it make sense that based off previous patterns, you could buy this and sell it for a profit? If you answer yes, then develop a plan that, make sure that the marginal profit outweighs the marginal loss, manage your risk, and then go for it. But if you answer no, like I would, then maybe we might want to be a little bit more selective with what we choose to trade. Maybe we might want to wait for a pullback, wait for this to be a little bit more on the oversold side, build that margin of profit, get a good deal on it, which then we can later sell for a profit. Or if we see the overall direction begin to change, maybe we can simply stay away from it. So again, I just wanted to put it into perspective of how we don't have to overcomplicate this, right? When we see a price point and you look at larger time frames, just ask yourself, are you getting a good deal? So the whole intention of you trading is buy low, sell high. I mean, literally, like to get a good deal on something, which then you can later sell for a profit. And we use patterns to analyze and determine these overall good deals, right? So Ricky, usually right, what percentage of the time? I don't calculate in a sense, my winning percentage or anything like that. /CL just broke below 54. Wow, that was an aggressive sell-off. I just try to have some fun and trade with our team, and I've done pretty well the past couple of weeks, thankfully. Very thankful for that. But yeah, let's see. Why does my stop loss on Robinhood cancel after market hours? Is there any way to keep it? Based off my experience, I don't use Robinhood, but even on TD Ameritrade, if I have a stop loss, they do get automatically canceled as it gets into extended hours, even pre-market hours. If you're part of Learn Plan Profit, you would have experienced this already. At the end of the day, I can't set a stop loss during pre-market or during aftermarket hours, which are labeled as extended hours. I have to set a limit order. So I just have to watch it a little bit more carefully, which again, for some people might be a higher form of risk. And if that's the point, and if that's the case, then simply don't trade during pre-market hours. Only take steps, right? It's all about calculated risk. If you feel like you're not there yet, then guess what? Don't do it. You're not here to prove yourself to anyone. Feel comfortable with what you do, gain experience, and you will slowly scale up, right? That's the biggest thing. It's forget about how much money I'm making. Forget about how much money anybody else says that they're making. I'm completely irrelevant to you, right? So why are you going to try to determine or, in a sense, like compare yourself to me? I've been doing this for years, and we see people in a very short period of time start to consistently grow their accounts in a much quicker rate than I did. So again, at the end of the day, it's not about you comparing yourself to other people, but just making sure that you're doing your part as a trader, as an investor, as an entrepreneur, to slowly, right, as time goes on, to just get better. And I think with small, consistent best practices can lead to huge results, but it's really hard when you continue to compare yourself to other people that might be doing a little bit better than you. Again, at the end of the day, if you're consistent and if you enjoy what you do, I think that's what really matters. So LPP discount code, Drew. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. For those that don't, again, you guys can refresh this page, and I already have it hidden for you. So it's at the very end of the description. There's a $40 off coupon. I believe 3 of them or 4 of them were already used during our first live stream today. So I think there might be 6 more or 7 more. So for those that want $40 off, that's going to be the only coupon incentive that I'm going to have for probably the remainder of the week. So if you want a discount off the Learn Plan Profit course, again, feel free to check it out. It's lifetime access, and you get to work with me on a closer basis. It's the only group that I work with on a closer basis, so feel free to check that out. But Ricky, how do you feel about DGAZ? Let's talk about it. /NG, right? So /NG is the natural gas ETF, right, or future. It's been selling off super aggressively. A lot of bad news that's been driving the price down for natural gas. And looking at this, right, how does that look like for DGAZ? It's been doing extremely well. It's been absolutely killing it. Look at this. Look how it's been trading in just the past 2 weeks, right? Or even, what is this, like 10 days. Look how much it's gone up, 40%. But now ask yourself, as long as this news continues, yeah, natural gas will continue to sell off, and DGAZ, go with the flow, right? Just take it day by day. But for those that are swing trading DGAZ, this is my opinion, and you guys do you, right? For those that are swing trading DGAZ, it's so overbought, right? So I find it to be so much more efficient for me to, if I see an opportunity within the day and a clear direction, a clear pattern, I'll take advantage of it, right? Even if it is overbought, it's overbought on the big charts, but I'm not going to swing trade it. So I'll take advantage of it day by day. When I see something that's so overbought on the 180-day chart and people are still holding on to it, I think that's very hopeful. And I think, in my opinion and in my experience, I just don't see that to be the best practice or best habits that you can have. Obviously, when something is so overbought, it's like, buying an iPhone, which you intend to sell for $1,000 and you buy it for $999. It's just like hoping that the price continues to increase. Yes, it can, and maybe you'll find someone to sell it to for $1,500, but that's very hopeful, especially when it's already so overbought and not a good deal. I am watching you guys, but as of right now, I'm not gonna hope that one goes up or one goes down. Again, just trying to stick to the charts, stick to the patterns. If I see natural gas continue to sell off, I'll continue to pay attention to DGAZ and focus on that. If I don't see a lot of movement on either side, then I won't trade either, right? If there's no clear direction of which one's moving up or which one's moving down, then again, I think we can just simply take a step back and watch. We have nothing but time. So don't feel like it's a make it or break it or anything of that sort. Again, if you're just getting started, trade to learn, not trade to profit, right? And if your best practices today, again, aren't aligning with, you hope to be able to trade with one day with $50,000, $100,000, how do you expect to get there when you're making all these beginner mistakes and you're aware of them, right? How do you expect to build the confidence, to build the experience, and to build the capital to trade with $50,000? It just doesn't make sense, right? It's the very simple things in life that I think people, on average, begin to overcomplicate. So, just like that, should I invest in Gaza? Don't be asking people what you should invest in. Inform yourself. And if you don't know yet, then dedicate more time to, learn a little bit more about it. So we got ticker symbol AMD. So we got Griff. Got Griff in the house. Here we go. So ticker symbol AMD. All right, what do you guys think about AMD? AMD a little bit more on the overbought side, right? I heard some news, right? So AMD, if I'm not mistaken, was partnering up with who? Like AT&T or something like that? What was it? I don't know exactly what it was, but there's specific news. Samsung. Yeah, sorry. AMD is Advanced Micro, it's right here. Advanced Micro Devices. They're usually paired or worked with Apple, right? And now they just signed a partnership with Samsung, right? So obviously in the fundamental side, makes sense, drove the price up, increased its overall value. Is that hype going to last forever? I don't know. Let's wait for that confirmation. Does it look like a good deal? No, but can it continue to uptrend? Of course. Let's take it day by day. Does it make sense on why you should swing trade something like this? In my opinion, no. Again, I'm not a long-term swing trader, and I would see this to be much more on the overbought side. And looking at this and how it trades, it makes sense on why it can begin to pull back. So I think it's great. And if it continues to uptrend, then take it day by day. But as long as you identify a clear direction and clear pattern. But to swing trade this and continue to want to hold this and hope that it continues to increase in price, I think that's very hopeful. And that just doesn't make too much sense to me, right? Here we go. So we got John Peters, MODN. Appreciate you tuning in, John. Here we go. So, okay, it was showing signs of a consistent downtrend pattern as began to push up overall. This is one thing that I'd point out. So it looks like it is trying to bounce off of this SMA line. This is my 2 cents. Check this out. It's been showing signs of this like descending lower lows and lower highs. Do you see that? So lower lows and lower highs. So it is getting rejected, but it hasn't really broken that pattern of it actually making higher highs and higher lows, especially with that MACD already, almost peaking out. So is that RSI. So if you look at these shorter time frames, it doesn't look as attractive as it might on the 180-day chart, especially with this SMA line now potentially acting as a resistance, and looking at the RSI and looking at the MACD, just something to point out, maybe to be a little bit more careful and selective with your entry point. Looking at this and how it's been trading, it actually looks overbought now instead of it looking oversold because of this descending pattern. So my 2 cents, right? Please do pre-market tomorrow. So I think you're asking me to trade pre-market hours. As soon as you get on. The Learn Plan Profit Group has really been enjoying. We had an amazing live trading session. Or who tuned in? If you're part of Learn Plan Profit, did you tune into the live trading session? I think it was on Friday, right? Was it Friday? I'm not too sure if it was Friday. I'm not too sure if it was Thursday. But I was up like 2.5K or 2K or something like that during pre-market hours. I went live for about 30 minutes. I got up to 4.7K, and then it pulled back, and I ended up having to cut losses. So I think I was like 2.6, 3K, and then I got back to 4.5, and then I got in another trade, and I had to cut it at 4.3. So I had an amazing time. It shows kind of like the different struggles that I go through and obstacles that I encounter during pre-market hours. And I think it really opens people's eyes on kind of what to expect. It doesn't mean, again, it's never to mimic my trades. It's never to mimic my trading style. It's to cherry pick and to identify, what I did well and what I could have done better. And I think, being able to see me make profits, but also take losses is something that a lot of people can, when they experience that, it doesn't matter like how structured a course can be. It's really eye-opening to see like someone implement everything it is that they're trying to teach and share. And we've been very thankful and very appreciative of all the people. So there we go. So when do you typically start trading during pre-market hours? I start as early as 4 in the morning. So that's when TD Ameritrade opens up for me. So that's about 2.5 hours before the market opens. So market opens my time, 6:30 a.m. So we got JNUG. What's going on, Mark Espinoza? So let's go ahead and break that one down. JNUG. Here we go. We'll do a couple more and then we'll call it one. So this is going to be the opposite of JDST. We talked about this. /GC has been pushing up. Again, there's been a lot of talk about the market not doing so well. Makes sense on why gold goes up when our market pulls back. So if we go and look at /NQ, right, we're going to see a strong, /ES. There's a lot of like uncertainty with all these specific things that like were going on with Trump, and not only just that, but there's a lot of like negative news towards our overall market. So then when it came down to /GC and how it's been trading, as of right now, it's actually not doing very well during, again, this is why it's really important to look at the overall future during pre-market hours or during extended hours, because since it's open, it's been descending, so it's been selling off. So that's actually in favor of JDST and not of JNUG. So it's actually showing signs of a potential rejection, and it makes sense. Look how overbought, look how overextended it is, and it makes sense on why it's due for a pullback. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean that it has to do it. We still need to wait for confirmation. So let's wait for those lower lows, lower highs. And again, that will not be in favor of JNUG. That would be in favor of JDST. So confirmation is key, especially even here. All right, here we go. So how is Learn Plan Profit for swing trading? So we do talk about swing trading from time to time, but I do want to be very open. When it comes down to my live trading sessions, I dedicate a lot of my time to day trading. So I just want to make sure that that's very clear. So I do have a part within the course that covers swing trading and waiting for consistent patterns, identifying the true direction, and stuff like that, being a little bit more selective with what I choose to hold for a swing trading in comparison to day trade. But when it comes down to implementation and what I'm doing right now, because the market has been so inconsistent, I have found it to be much more effective for me to focus on just day trading. And I just wanted to share that with you. So here we go. Emmanuel, I'm not too sure if you're just like, swiping your hand across the keyboard, but yeah. Here we go. So we got Kyle calling out GoPro, right? So let's go ahead and break this one down. Let's see how GoPro is doing. Okay, so you're calling it out probably because it's a little bit more on the oversold side, right? So here we go. All right. I would say that, yeah, it's definitely approaching a previous support, right, based off previous patterns. It's a little bit more on the oversold side. The direction has not changed. So that's my biggest thing, is the direction is still showing signs of a consistent sell-off, still aggressively selling off, and the EMA line is still pointing down. Again, if you want to take, we're talking about stocks and hope that, we can trade this week. As of right now, GoPro is not showing any indication of a reversal, so it's just not something that I would care to pay too much attention to. So I'll simply set my alerts for that. All right, let's see. So I thought your live videos were only for Learn Plan Profit members. They are. I only trade live with Learn Plan Profit, except for once a month. I open it up to those that tune into our free live trading session. So, do you hold any stocks long? Nope. Usually the types of investments that I have that are a little bit more long-term are my properties. I've shared that multiple times. I share that within Learn Plan Profit. And yeah. That's my approach. It's what I feel comfortable doing, and just because I do it doesn't mean you should at all, right? It's just I just share my reasoning, and that's it. So we got Ignacio, we got PYPL. All right, PYPL. Let's go ahead and break this one down. Alrighty, very consistent pattern. I think we could all agree on that. Looking at where it's at right now, definitely on the overbought side. Look at the RSI, look at that MACD. Makes sense on why we can wait for that margin to build, right? So the more that it sells off, the more margin that we have for a potential recovery, especially with such a consistent pattern. So just think about this: when it broke above the EMA line, when it broke above the SMA line, and where it's at right now, that's 4.5% on a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? So as of right now, again, not a good deal. Let's set alerts. Let's build that margin. Let's wait for that reversal. Let's wait for that confirmation. Let's wait for the higher highs and wait for that perfect time to enter, so we take advantage of maybe PayPal when the action is happening. PayPal's, again, an example. Not really talking about PayPal, but again, if you want to be efficient with your trading, right? How many of you guys have ever experienced a trade where you get in and get out within a very short period of time because you took part of it when the action was happening? It's probably because you're extremely patient with your entry point, rather than trying to buy the dip, it continues to sell off, and you're put through this roller coaster of emotions of not even wanting to trade that stock anymore. So I think we could all agree on that the more selective, the more patient that you are, the better off you can be, and also the experience, purposes, is much more enjoyable. So pre-market stream tomorrow, I'm not too sure, Nico. So it really depends on how these certain things are trading during pre-market hours. If I see there to be an opportunity, of course, I'll trade during pre-market hours. If not, then we'll just trade at market open, just like we normally do. So I'm going to do one more, and then we can kind of go from there. So what's the length of your SMA? You can see right here, it's 180. So all right, so what's going on, Teddy? IFRX. Let's see. Ooh, my goodness. I actually don't know what drove the price down on this one. I would have to look into it. Would look like a potential dip buy opportunity, but also the volume is super low. Well, it looks super low. Wow. Looking forward to speaking with Justin and some of your team of finance this month. I hope that... Oh, okay. Sounds good, Eric. Appreciate that. I'll talk to the guys about it. I'm not too familiar with what the project is as of right now. Here we go. 180-day chart. Yeah, so it looks extremely oversold. I'll set my alerts for whatever the case may be. But as of right now, there's no indication of a reversal or anything like that. So, yeah, I would watch out. It would make sense on why there can be a reversal, but I haven't been a huge fan of a lot of these aggressive sell-offs and potential dip opportunities. I haven't seen them play out exactly as planned. So, what's your opinion for real estate stocks? What? I'm not too focused on real estate stocks. I'm focused on either trading or real estate, but I like to keep them separate. That one failed. FDA. Okay, so I'm not huge on I've had very bad experiences with these type of like medical companies trying to go through like FDA approval, and when they don't pass, then it drives the price down. So yeah, definitely makes sense. Here we go. Let's see. Being completely honest, I focus much more on technicals than I do on fundamentals, but I think it's, if possible, to become well informed on both sides. So, the more that you know, the better you can do, right? Here we go. So ARQL, I just want to end it with a good one. ARQL. Let's see. Okay, so this one's not bad. This one's not bad. So ARQL, a nice little uptrend pattern. It's really close to that SMA line. It's kind of in that consolidation phase. I think we could all agree based off previous patterns, all that good stuff. Margin of profit for potential recovery, definitely in that 17%, so definitely very attractive. So now let's just wait for that confirmation. That MACD looks good. The RSI looks decent. Now we just need to wait for higher highs. Even if we wait, again, for when that action is happening, even from like $7 to, $7.30, right? That's 5%. Again, when someone gives you, it's a saying in Spanish, when someone gives you an arm, don't take the leg. It's like, just be patient, be selective, and try to take part of when that action is happening, especially if you've been struggling to stay green. Why are you so, just like anxious to take that position? Don't think that you always have to be in something to make money. The more selective you are, the example that I like to give is, for those that are just starting to trade or to develop their own opinion or their own criteria, just imagine if you were someone that was managing money for other people, right? Like a hedge fund manager. Are you going to want to trade or take advantage of any opportunity? No, because it's not all going to be worth it. So why are you so free with any of the trades that you're taking? It's because it's just you and you feel like there's no consequences. So what if there were, right? What if you're trading for other people and there was a consequence? What if your mindset then changes and you begin to focus on much more focused criteria? While I'm talking about hedge fund and managing money, I want you guys to know that if you receive a message from someone pretending to be me, asking for personal information, asking for that they'll trade for you, I want you guys to know that I don't trade for other people. I never ask for money. I never ask for personal, personal information. I never message you first. And I don't mean that to be rude or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that you guys know that like, there's a bunch of fake accounts that say that they're support accounts, cryptocurrency accounts, Bitcoin accounts, Forex accounts. Nothing. I have my one account. I have 112,000 followers as of right now, and I post on my story every day. You can message me. I respond back. We can talk. That's it. It's very easy to see. I'm not verified on Instagram, but I'm verified on YouTube, and I want you guys to know that I never message you first, right? If I message you first and you ever question it, then message me on Instagram or ask me within the Discord chat and make sure that it's me. But again, if you're being asked for personal info or anything like that, then please report that account, because that's not something that we do. So what is a realistic percentage annual increase for day traders after taxes? Again, that's a very open-ended question. It's different. It's like asking a real estate agent, well, how much money can you make being a real estate agent? It's like the scale is so broad. People can do it as a hobby, or people can do it as a full-fledged, top in their area. It's very open-ended. So it really comes down to, in my honest opinion, if you're already asking that question to determine how much money you can make, and for all those that are like, well, how much money do I need to make $5,000, a month? First, learn how to trade. See if you work well with the market. Learn. You should be trading to learn, not trading to profit. And if you can't grasp that idea, then I don't think that you're going to do very well within this market. Because again, if you become so obsessed in the monetary aspect, I'm someone that, again, can be very, I think we could all agree that being money driven is not a bad thing, as long as you don't obsess about it and it ends up infringing on your best practice or your work, right? Especially if that's all you're focused on when you're learning. You're going to have to get over that, because you're not going to be able to overcome these obstacles, and you're going to make a lot of mistakes when you're first getting started. So, Ricky, where are you from? I am from California. My parents are from Mexico, and I now live in Arizona, right? I moved out here to go to school, but I share a bunch of that. Did you guys know I have 1,700 videos on YouTube? I think some of that is included for the private live streams, but I have over 1,700 videos on YouTube. So for all those that love asking those very beginner questions, YouTube it. YouTube whatever it is that you are searching. You might be surprised that you don't have to ask for every single step. You can simply search for it, try to do your own due diligence, and I want you guys to know that at the end of the day, if you're someone that's asking to be spoon-fed in this market, and you're not a problem solver, and you're not dedicating time to become self-sufficient, I wish you the best of luck. But unfortunately, luck doesn't go very far in the stock market, not for a long period of time. So if you're someone that really wants to do well, become a problem solver, work towards being self-sufficient. Don't be so focused on being told what to do and that there's only one way to be successful. There's so many different methods right? Different best practices that you can put together to develop your own style of trading to do well in this market. And doing well can, for someone, be $100 a day, and for other people, it can be $10,000 a day. It does not matter. Follow a market in which you enjoy being a part of, you enjoy doing, right? And you see value in it. I think one of the most beautiful things about my life is that I don't need a vacation from what I do. And I don't think a lot of people can say that. Of course, the nice things are obviously very rewarding, but at the end of the day, it's, you want to make sure that you don't hate what it is that you do. So that's why I love people that have normal jobs, but are very fulfilled with what they do because they just enjoy it. And I think that's everyone's end goal, right? Spending time with those that they care and they love, but also making sure that you take part of markets, or that you have a career in markets or areas or overall professions in which you see value in and you feel valued as well. So alrighty, so that's going to be it for today. Again, I do want to remind you that for all those that are interested in Learn, Plan, Profit, you guys have that second link in the description to learn a little bit more about it. It's the only option that I offer to work with me on a closer basis. You can watch me trade live every single day, Monday through Friday. You can work with me on a closer basis, and then you get access to our beginner-friendly, A to Z video lesson library for the Learn, Plan, Profit lesson library. There's a little coupon at the very end of the description. It's $40 off. Last time I checked, there's about 6 spots left. So for those that want to take advantage of that opportunity, great. For those that don't, I wish you an amazing week. Just continue working hard, continue following dreams. Let your passion be what drives your success. Be selective, be patient, make sure that you learn from your mistakes. And again, if you want to do this, if you want to do this for the rest of your life, if you feel like you can either do this for a hobby or a full-fledged career, trade to learn first and not trade to profit. Make sure that if you plan to, again, your goal is to do this for the rest of your life, you need to understand that the dollar amount that you're trading with right now, that you're trying to make it or break it with, is not what you could be trading with 5 or 10 years down the road. So why are you discouraging yourself to try to make the most money right now? It just doesn't make sense. So again, make sure that your best practices today align with your end goal. And we'll leave it at that. Appreciate you guys' time. Continue. Oh, I already said that. So I hope we earned your thumbs up. Hope you guys can subscribe. Again, don't forget to tag me on your Instagram story for me to repost you. And if you guys have any questions on, again, how we can stay connected, all the links are down in the description. Please don't contact me in any other way, as it's probably not me if it's not plugged down below. Appreciate you guys' time like always. Let's make sure that we end the year on a green out. Take it easy, team, and happy